What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Tonight we've got a very special Friday night before, whatever happens tomorrow. There's not too much to be happy about with tomorrow. No, I'm not too proud to be an American right now. But tonight we have Seth Andrews, and me, and we're here primarily because we've got a lot of stuff going on next weekend, and we really wanted to let people know about it, but also take y'all's calls. It feels like it's been so long since we've been on a show together, Seth.
It has been a while, and I feel a little bit the way you do. There have been a lot of news reports that have just released about Americans feeling very split on the Stars and Stripes when they see the American flag. And I wrote about this just a little bit because I figured I was the only one, not the only one thinking it. But this sort of toxic nationalism and the weaponization of the flag and the symbolism of America, it's never really resonated that much with me. I've never really been a hand over heart to get a tear in your eye. America is the world kind of dude. I mean, even when I was a religious person. But we've seen the flag so weaponized to harm people. It hasn't become, a marker for the American tribe. It's not like, oh, well, these people are from the United States. It is a statement of superiority. And I think it represents a specific culture that they've decided that their cruelty should be adorned in red, white, and blue, and in stars and in stripes. And I've come to the point now, John, when I'm driving down the road, I see somebody flying freaking American flags on their truck, or they got the emblem on their car. I see there's somebody in the neighborhood, and they've got big flag poles, and the flags are out. I see somebody wearing one of those gaudy Americana T-shirts with the eagle and the AR-15s and the hat and the fireworks and I'm just like, I start to assume the worst about that person. I say, oh, look, an agent of fascism in Trumpistan 2026. Thank you for nothing. And I become resentful, and I get this bad taste in my mouth, and I don't feel proud. It's like having a child or someone in your family that you love, but you're not proud of them. You're wildly concerned for them. In some ways, you feel emotionally numb and you don't want to be around them. That's a lot of how I feel about the United States. I'm here. I wanted to one day overcome and see the best version of itself, but I don't feel any patriotism. I don't get moved by the waving flag. And, as we see tens and tens of millions of my fellow countrymen and women walk around this weekend dressed up like a Roman candle, that just doesn't do anything for me. You know what I'm saying? Plus, the fireworks scare the dogs, and that pisses me off, too. So, I don't know. But I get you, John. I totally get you.
Yeah, and it's been this way for a while. Just the apathy, I guess, that I feel in not only where I work personally, but as far as like being in America, because like I've been on international travel, and every time that we start to go on international travel, my in-laws always tell me like, hey, just tell them you're Canadian, okay? They won't know.
There is a shirt that you can buy. When I was speaking in Calgary recently, I almost bought it. And it either said, we didn't vote for him, or we hate him too. And it said it in all of the languages of the world. And so it was just that one line, and it was stamped in a pattern so that it covered the entire shirt in all major languages, hundreds of languages. So you walk through, and if nobody was looking, and be like, oh, yeah, okay, it's a pattern. And if you read it, it says, we hate him too. And Natalie was like, there's a Maple MAGA, right? There is a conservative group in part of Alberta that is hardcore. Like, they are Make America Great Again Canadians. And they love Trump, and they have a politician who loves Trump. And some of them are talking about seceding from the rest of the country. And I'm like, Canada? And even the rest of Canada is going, what the hell is going on? It's a cancer. It just keeps spreading everywhere we go. So, but it's good to be here with you. And I'm glad people on the 3rd of July would come and and be a part of the evening with us. And we're going to, we've got a family thing later tonight. We're going to go spend some time with loved ones. But the truth is, I can't wait to get home and cuddle the dogs and apologize to them for all the boomers that are going to be going off in the neighborhood because it freaks them out. Their eyes get wide and they shake and they tremble and they just look at you like, what's happening? And I can't tell them, well, it's just harmless gunpowder. They think it's the end of the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was driving back with my son, and we passed a fireworks stand, and just like I don't know if it's just my brand of ADHD or whatnot, but I was watching it as I was passing it, and I just blurted out like, "Hey, let's all be American and blow shit up and possibly our fingers off."
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what this and New Year's, both of those kind of get that let's blow shit up kind of
energy. A buddy of mine was a fire captain for 25 years. The fire station was on the other side of town, but he and I've been friends forever. And he's like, I used to love fireworks, and then I saw the injuries. A lot of them happen while people are just dumb or drunk or both. We had a fireworks stand in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of my hometown. I don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody lit a cigarette. I don't know if there was some friction that ignited something. The entire tent went up in about 4 minutes, like $30,000 worth of fireworks. And the video of it's crazy. It made international news. So people are on the corner and it's like, and the entire tent is on fire. And of course, it's as dry as a bone. So we're terrified that it's going to spread out into the fields and the trees and whatnot. I got no problem with fireworks. I've spent decades. I enjoy some of them. But the magic, and maybe some of it is just that when you do it so often for so many years, you kind of been there, done that. So I don't want to steal anybody's joy. But this whole idea of our freedom is somehow freedomier than the freedom of the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Switzerland, Ireland, Canada. This idea that we're superior whenever we're failing in almost every metric worldwide, whether it's cost of living or quality of healthcare or violent crime or lifespan or any of these other things. What are we the best at? And this has been measured. So while we fall, especially to nations, I think the greatest country in the world overall has been measured out to be statistically, it's Switzerland. We here in the United States have ranked number one in two categories: military spending, national pride, which means we're number one at saying we're number one. That's what we're number one at. Just blows my mind. What are we proud of? An accident of birth? Oh, look, I popped out of mom's vagina in the middle of these border areas, and I'm proud of that. Now, I think pride has to be earned. Respect has to be earned. And I would love to come to a point when I feel real pride about what we stand for and how we act and behave and treat other people and what we represent. And I have a dream maybe one day, but right now I just feel shame, So That's just kind of how I roll on Independence Day. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of freedom going on. Most of it's being stripped away by the oligarchs,
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you bringing up the whole freedom thing reminds me of that opening scene from The Newsroom. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with Jeff Daniels. I just listened to his audio book. He's got an audio book of stories, and he talked about memorizing that big speech, and it's remarkable. Yeah, it's true.
Because I always I love watching that opening scene, not only because it's a great speech to watch, but like the one guy's like freedom, and freedom, as if, yeah. And even when I first watched it, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we're not the only country with freedom. There's so many other countries with freedom. And then of course, Jeff Daniels, his character just says that like right there out loud. So, it was, it's pretty crazy how the exceptionalism of Americans that seems to cloud like the way that they view the rest of the world. And I think around 4th of July, it's always amplified.
And it gets married into religion, right? We are destined by God America, in many ways, America is the world. And I don't be pedantic, everybody. I know America, the United States, America, I'm talking colloquially, we are America. Okay. I realize what the Americas are. Take a pill. Give me a break. But God has ordained us to be better. And look, we're going to go out and distribute freedom to the rest of the world, which is, I'm sorry, the story of conquest, which is very biblical. It's very human, but certainly it's very biblical. We feel like we've done everybody else a favor when we go in and we crush them and then rebuild them in our image, or at least try to, as if we have something that's all that different. And I've become more of a global thinker since I've gotten out of the faith. I used to be, we are the greatest. I'm proud to be an American. I was singing the Lee Greenwood song, and I thought I was all that. I mean, I did believe that there was something very special. But now I think we are all the human condition. There's 8 billion of fellow travelers on this rock. And if we weren't thinking tribally and finding reasons to separate by differences, imagine what we might accomplish. And I know it sounds like the John Lennon song, and I'm okay with it because it's a dream. But unfortunately, I think our not so higher primate selves will always be tribal, and we will always find reasons to other, and we can always find reasons to be irrational and stupid, especially in the United States. We have an epidemic of stupid in this country, and it hurts the heart. Sometimes I have to turn. My wife just bought me she bought me a 4K camera Wi-Fi bird feeder for the backyard. Is this some old man shit or what? And it's awesome. It's awesome. I come up and I'm in the studio and my mind is melting and I'm so mad and I can't believe the latest atrocity and the headlines suck and what the hell's going to happen? I go out and sit out on the patio and just watch the birds. And I feed the birds, and then I come up and I put it on my app, and I watch the camera, and the birds are landing, and they're eating, and they're frolically, and I am zenning out. I've become the Birdman of Oklahoma, and so that's been good medicine. Getting back to nature, using a little technology there. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. So this weekend, we have the 4th of July that we're not exactly all that happy about celebrating, but next weekend is going to be awesome. Next weekend, we have a bunch of stuff going on. The first thing that's going on though is Seth and No Illusions is actually putting on a show in Cincinnati. Seth, do you want to kind of speak to that a little bit there?
Yeah. Noah and I have been buddies for a while. And we've been on each other's shows. You may know him as host of The Scathing Atheist and one of the co-hosts of God Awful Movies. And he's on a bunch of he's on like 5 shows. I don't know how he does it. And I was going to be in Cincinnati, that area, for the Ark Encounter protest. And so was Noah. I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if we could do a thing together? Like for the first time ever, a tandem thing. So I buzz him, hey, dude, would you like to take the stage with me? And we'll do 3 hours. We'll do like an individual presentation, and then we'll give some shit away, and we'll do hate mail from the stage, and we'll interact with the audience with a lot of Q&A, and we're just going to have a ball. He was totally in. So I found a little theater called the Anderson Theater, the Anderson Center. And it's this not too big, not too small, PAC kind of a spot. Perfect. And so I grabbed it, signed all the paperwork, and we've had the tickets on sale for, 8 weeks. And we are coming up on a full house, but we still have some seats left. And so it's in 8 days, July the 11th, 2 to 5 in the afternoon. So that saves your morning, and then you get the evening free. And we're going to hang out. I've got a space on the programs in case anybody wants anything signed. The shit we're giving away from the stage is hysterical. Some very sacrilegious gifts, which we'll autograph if anybody wants. But mostly it's going to be just a chance to get together and enjoy just a refreshing 3 hours of sanity in an insane world. If you're in the Cincinnati area, Come join us. If you want tickets, I attached the page to my website. You can go to sethandrews.com/Cincinnati. Would you throw that graphic up for me one more time? I think the website to the bottom. Yeah. sethandrews.com/Cincinnati. With Noah in the room, you know there's going to be plenty of attitude and probably plenty of F-bombs and a lot of great wisdom, too, and humor, because the guy's hysterical, you know.
No, yeah. And I can't wait to see y'all. I think the last time that I saw Noah speak was actually at Free Flow like 3 years ago, 4 years
Was it the
ago.
Christian video game speech that he did?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
my
yeah.
God. Dude, watching this guy talking about 80s and 90s era Christian video games is hysterical. Because
Yeah.
Christian media, I mean, John, you and I both know, Christian media is the turkey bacon of media, right? It's always cringe. And you're going to be there as part of the event too, and John's going to be part of the middle of the show. He's going to come up and chat for a bit, and we're going to have him help us dole out the booty, the prizes and stuff to everybody. And since he was going to be in the area, he and Casey, I just thought it'd be amazing to integrate them as well. And you guys have been instrumental. You've been so generous with your time and your energy, and you've been such a support mechanism to me. And then, of course, then we get to go and wave. You think Ken Ham will drive into the entrance of the Ark Encounter at the protest on the 12th? I've never seen him in person, ever.
I've not seen him in person either. And last year at the Ark Encounter, we weren't guaranteed that, but we did get a promise from Kent Hovind that he would be there. And of course, he didn't show up. And he says he got lost. The fucking Ark Encounter is right off of the interstate. You just have to get on the interstate and just fucking go north towards Canada, and you can't miss it, right? And so like he's like, I got lost. It's like, how can you get lost, Kent? But anyways,
I
so
always like
now
to refer to him. I always have to look it up to make sure that I always say, no, I don't call him Kent Hovind. I call him inmate number 06453-017 because, of course, he is a convicted felon.
yeah.
So to refer to Kent by his inmate number, he'll love it.
Yeah.
Somebody from his camp sent me a freaking email. How many months ago was this? This must have been first of the year, late last year, and said, Kent is very interested in appearing on your channel to debate the existence of God or creationism. I can't remember exactly what the request was. He would like to engage with you on your channel on the issue of God. I just looked at the email. And so I hit reply. And I said, thank you so much for the invitation. I would rather put a campfire out with my face. Yours in Christ, Seth Andrews. Click. And I sent it back, and I haven't heard a thing since. I would rather put a campfire out with my face.
Yeah.
And have a show with that guy. So
yeah, I'm totally excited for this. I can't wait to get to see you and Noah for a few hours on Saturday. I know on the way up there we're actually hitting up this it's like a what is it? It's a Bible study dropout thing where it's at a brewery in Nashville, I think it is. If you go and look online for Bible school dropouts, you'll see the event. But it's going to be a good event. Casey and I are going to be there, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
What is it? You all get together and do like the most scandalous or wacky Bible verses, or what is it? A game?
I don't know. So this is going to be the first one that I've been to, but let me pull it up real quick. Let's see, Bible study dropout. It's the first one that I've been to, but it's like a crafts thing that people are doing.
What's interesting too, of course, is we know that the two demographics that know the most about the Bible don't include Christians. The people who are most statistically most well versed in what the Bible actually says are Jews and atheists. So if you really want to know what's in the Christian Bible, don't ask a Christian. Call John. Call
Yeah.
me. We might be able to help you a little better than most practicing Christians, which I find
Yeah.
interesting.
So we do have a Christian on the line that we are going to get to here in a second, but it's called Youth Group Dropout, and you can go to youthgroupdropout.com. It's a crafty kind of fun thing. It says if you survive youth group, purity culture, or a lock-in, you're among friends, no artistic experience required. It's at Tailgate Brewery, is 7300 Charlotte Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, July 9th, 6 to 8 p.m. So we're going to be there doing that before we get to see you and Noah. And the last time we were at the protest, we actually went to the Creation Museum, and I don't know if I want to visit the Ark Encounter again because it was pretty lackluster the first time I went through. But
No shit.
it
No
might it might
shit.
be interesting to do like a video where I go, because I did a Creation museum walkthrough so that people didn't have it was kind of one of those things where it's like I went to the Creation Museum so you didn't have to, and I'm
And we get
wondering.
pushback for that. Some people are like, why in the world would you buy a ticket and pay for parking and give them any of your money? And for me, it's a cost benefit conversation because I go, I mean, you can go if you want, but a lot of people who will never buy a ticket still would like some ammo. They want to know what's going on in that place. And so I'm able to go in. I went into the Creation Museum and I documented it as well. Matt Dillahunty and I toured the Ark Encounter together. And I felt the same, John. I mean, some of the woodwork construction, except for the part outside that's starting to rot in the elements. But I mean, there's some impressive architecture. Most of it makes your brain explode when you walk through and you see the tiny, like, puppy mill cages that the baby velociraptors were supposed to have stayed in for a year. You fear, you just think, is this the state of education in our country? And I was struck mostly by the Ark Encounter. When you go in, you just mostly walk and read. Like there were
Mhm.
just banners and placards and posters. And so there's a lot of space, but I didn't think there was a lot of stuff. Is that what you meant by lackluster?
Oh yeah, there's very little substance, but I guess maybe the Ark Encounter is a little bit more comical, because of the fact that it has so many like, exhibits. I remember very vividly we were going through all those cages that you were talking about, and on the Ark, and I'm really curious to go back and see this again, but they actually had like an animal that was supposed to be sort of like a proto whale type of animal that eventually turned into the whale. But it's like, what if God created all the animals at the beginning? Weren't whales already just swimming in the water, and wouldn't they have just continued swimming? I mean, they're they have the blowholes and everything. They don't like they could just fucking anyways, they could just be in the water, they don't have to have been on the boat or anything. It really confused me at that point, but maybe I misunderstood it. I don't know.
No, and it's a point that a lot of people miss. What about all the waterbound creatures? Or what happens when the fresh water from the lakes and the rains mix with the salt water of the oceans? So, what does the entire planet become stacked with brackish water? And what does that do to the wildlife? And there's just so much that blows my mind about that. So,
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, how they think it works. But in any case, we do have a call coming in. If just to let everybody know, $5 or more super chats we will be addressing at the end of the show. We're only going for about an hour 45 today, so if you want to call in, you're definitely going to need to call in soon. The number is 1-270-619-2288, or there is a link in the description, and you can call in and ask Seth a question or me a question. I'm here too, but more importantly, Seth is here. So we're gonna get to William over there. Let's see, William, are you? Oh, there we go. William, are you there?
Yeah, how you guys doing today?
good.
Yeah, doing pretty good. What you want to talk about today, there, William?
So, just in general, I just noticed that there seem to be a lot of people into extreme camps going on now, where you have more of you guys who saying that you don't believe in God, and then you have other folks who want to be in the other extreme, who's saying that you have to believe that Jesus is God. So I'm just trying
Wait,
to figure out where's the middle ground. Can we find a middle ground in this process?
I don't know what you mean by
Is there a
middle
middle
ground.
place to find? Excuse me.
I don't know what you mean by
I
middle
mean,
ground.
you're in America, right?
Yes,
So
I
you're
am
an
American.
American citizen, and
I'm
so
def.
do you believe in the American Constitution?
What does that have to do with God?
What did that have to do with God? Because God is, I think, kind of mentioned in the Constitution, the Creator. You know what I'm
Cite,
saying? The
please,
Creator. I
cite,
mean, I
cite,
think that's something that.
cite section and subsection for me.
Excuse me.
Tell us,
So
quote
you
from
know, I
the
mean, that's
Constitution, the reference to God that you were talking about. We'll wait for a
that's
second.
talking about. I'm talking about that we're all endowed with inalienable rights from the Creator.
Oh
That's
yeah, is
the
that the
So whoever
Declaration
Constitution?
of
that's
Independence.
acknowledging. That's acknowledging. Yeah, yeah. The Declaration of Independence, correct. So that's just
Oh, so
acknowledging
hold on,
that,
William.
you
William,
know,
what? William, is the Declaration of Independence a founding document of the United States?
uh, I kind of think so. I mean, you know, I guess, wouldn't you say?
How many? Well, is the current Constitution the first government of the United States, or is it the technically the second government of the United States?
I don't really want to. I'm not really concerned with semantics. I'm
This isn't
just
semantics
in
there.
general.
So the point that hold on, the point that I'm trying to make is that the Declaration of Independence was written and signed in 1776. It was a breakup document that we sent to the King of England, basically saying like we're not putting up with your shit anymore. We're separating from you. Kick rocks, right? And so that was that document. And then there was a whole Revolutionary War. And then after we won the Revolutionary War, there was a whole government that was written up that we ended up having to replace with the current Constitution. So it is so far removed from being a founding document of our current government that it makes literally no sense to bring up the Declaration of Independence here. It has no bearing on how our government is currently set up. And I get what it says in that document, but that document doesn't exactly carry any kind of like legal weight as far as like our current government. So maybe we could set that aside and maybe we could just focus on what the actual governing document says. Now, do you know what the actual governing document says?
So I'm just more concerned about the acknowledgement that we're in a country in America that we, you know, in God we trust like it's on our money. So
Oh,
just
you
in
mean the thing that was
general,
added in the
that you know, we as
1950s?
people.
You mean the thing that was added in the 1950s in order to combat what we perceive to be as terrible communism?
I mean, you can call it what you want, but we're a civil society who generally we're a Judeo-Christian society that generally believe in a creator, a God. We give thanks to a God. And I don't
Williams,
see what's wrong with people in
Wi-
general giving thanks to creation, whatever you might perceive that to be.
Williams fucking with us, right? I
No.
mean, you just call these. Are you just pulling
What
this
do,
stuff out of a Rolodex, so to speak?
what do you mean pulling it out of Rolodex, brother? I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, we've gone from the Constitution to the Declaration to God on the money to is it bad to give gratitude to a God, whatever you call it? This
Right.
so
Okay.
we're pinballing around.
I think that's freedom of religion. That's America. You know
We
what I'm saying?
have
That's
a
the reason
freedom
why,
to
you know,
believe. You and
people.
I agree.
Right.
People have the
Right.
freedom to believe. Do you believe in a
You don't have to be
specific
a
God with a
believer. You
proper
know, you
name?
can choose.
William,
I mean, you
do
can
you
choose
believe
not to
in a
be
specific
grateful.
God with a proper name?
Do I believe in a Pacific God with a proper name?
Do you believe in a specific God with a proper name?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Which God?
I believe in Allah God.
A lot
Allah.
of gods? Oh,
I
So
believe in
you are
Allah God.
Allah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm understanding. Say it one more time so I know we're talking about the same thing.
I
What is your
believe
God's
in
name?
Allah, God. The creator of the heavens and the earth for me is Allah.
Allah. Okay,
The
yeah.
creator that we talk about in independence in far as our faith and being able freedom of our belief and believing in the God, the creator. I believe in the God, Allah, the creator.
Okay, all right, well, hang on. You realize that the Christians say creator means their God, and a Hindu might say their creator in that reference means their God, and any other religion might say it means their God, when in truth it was just a vague and
Right.
nebulous reference to some other out there. You know, the people who put God on the money didn't have Allah in mind when it was added to coins after the Civil
No,
War and paper money in
not.
1956. You realize they were talking about Yahweh Jesus, right?
So I know, and in my belief, what I'm saying, it teaches us that if the Creator wanted us all to be speaking in one voice and one mind, He could have created us that way. But He
Wait a
created
minute.
us, what I'm saying.
Intentionally confusing? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying? Why in the world would he not want us all to hold to the same truth
Intentionally.
if it was in fact true? And again, if you want
So
to invoke God
I'm
on the
not.
money, we have to acknowledge the context in which God on the money was added. It was specifically referencing the Christian God, not the Muslim God. So why would you bring that up to
So
defend
have you
Allah?
ever? So what I'm saying, far as eternally in your being, you as an individual, the reason why you're actually having this conversation with me is because internally you're seeking to know, is there a God or is there not a God? And so that eternally that we all going to seek that knowledge, because we know that somebody put the moon and the stars and created the water and the air and the ocean with things living that we can't live in.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So
William,
that knowledge of
William,
that's something that we all internally seek.
no,
Is
no. So
Allah
Right?
a Judeo-Christian God? You see, when I think Judeo-Christian, I'm not thinking Allah in Islam, but
no, I mean
that's weird.
Okay,
It's
so
a
I mean,
Judeo God.
I
It's
that's
guess.
because
Abrahamic. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
we
sorry, John.
also
Go ahead. I
have a
walked all over
level
you,
of
but
ignorance.
my mind is a pinball machine right now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, we also have.
No, hold on. I want to go back to something you said there, William, because you kind of presumed God's existence. You begged the question in that last little diatribe that you had, saying that we know something had to create like the oceans and the planets and the plants and the animals and everything like that. I actually don't know that. What I know is that there are
You
natural
actually don't know that,
explanations that
but you
can
don't.
hold on. There are
So
natural
you don't.
explanations that can explain how the earth got here, how plants got here, how the water got here, how animals got here. We can explain everything naturally without the need for a wizard. So what is your
Okay,
indication that a
so
wizard is needed?
you have you have scientific proof that there is an intelligence in creation, a
No.
higher intelligence than you. So you might not
No.
want
I
to
don't have
accept
scientific
that.
proof for that. What's the
You don't
scientific
accept.
proof for that?
You don't accept that there's a higher intelligence than you that
No.
created creation. You don't accept that.
No. No, not in that
So you
particular. There
think so?
might
You
be
like you
there
want to know?
probably is. Hold on. There probably is a higher intelligence out there, but it's more than likely like an alien race that's
Oh,
like
okay,
far
thank you. You
advanced.
believe in God then? If you believe in,
No,
if you believe in,
no.
you
That's
can
not what I
bring
said.
yourself to believe in a higher intelligence. You believe
No,
in
no,
God.
that's still
That's
no.
basic belief in
That's not what
God.
that is. No, aliens are not God. Why the
Yeah, that
fuck do you
is.
think aliens are God? He's fucking
Okay,
with us at
so
this
if you
point.
Yeah,
do
he
you
is.
do you
He's
accept
just
do you
he just
accept
likes to hear the sound of his own voice. We call this verbal masturbation, William, and you should know it's
oh my
unbecoming
God.
to pleasure
Come on,
yourself in
man.
public. And so I would
What are you
encourage you
talking
use
about,
a
bro?
little more discretion next time. I don't think you're even
So
listening. So I'm trying
no,
to
I am
decide how
listening,
much
brother.
more
I just
oxygen we give this guy, John.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this other kind of screen, this other call that we got in queue there to screen maybe.
Yeah, John, I'm going to run through just a few of the greatest hits of why the hell we're not a Christian nation, but I'm not going to do it with
Yes.
you on the line. So we're going to let you go. Okay? May the
Yep.
Lord bless you and keep you, whoever she is. I don't know. All right, here's my spiel. And I've done a speech on this. It's called, I actually did a few. One is called America is Not a Christian Nation. I did one in front of the state capitol in Sacramento, California last year called Jefferson's Jesus. Here's my shtick in a nutshell. All right. Some of the founding fathers did hold a God belief. Some did not. They purposefully, escaping the overreach of the Church of England, did not write a theocratic message into the governing document of the United States. God is not mentioned once in the United States Constitution. Thomas Paine wrote The Age of Reason, where he often criticized religion. Benjamin Franklin was most likely a deist, criticizing the Puritans. Thomas Jefferson, most likely a deist. He is famous for taking a razor and slicing out the supernatural parts of the Gospels. That Bible is on display right now at the Smithsonian. It is known as the Jefferson Bible. George Washington didn't take his oath of office on a Bible. The Treaty of Tripoli, which was signed as a negotiation between us and Tripoli to navigate shipping lanes. They were worried we were going to be Christian colonizers. John Adams signed his name to the document, which says, and I quote, "The government of the United States is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion." The Pledge of Allegiance wasn't written until a century after our founding. Francis Bellamy, who was a socialist, did not include "under God" in the pledge. That wasn't added till the mid-20th century. "On God We Trust" was not on the coins until the late 1800s. Paper money, the mid-1900s, I think 1956. We are, in every sense, a pluralistic, non-Christian, non-religious, secular democracy. And the people who want to rewrite the liars, like the guy who is not a historian, who passes himself off as a historian, who is beloved in Christian circles, his name is David Barton. He writes books that just rewrite our history. He wrote a book on Thomas Jefferson as a Christian who wanted a Christian nation, blah, blah, blah. His biography on Thomas Jefferson, published by Thomas Kincaid Publishing, a Christian publisher, was so full of horseshit that even Kincaid Publishing had to remove it from the shelves. They pulled the guy's goddamn book off the shelves, and he had to go and publish it somewhere else, right? These people are lying to you. We are not one nation under any God. We're a nation of people. So that's my elevator speech. If you're taking a very long elevator ride, thank you for indulging me, John. I appreciate it very much.
No, yeah, when I first heard about that, about Barton's book getting pulled from the shelves, I immediately was like, I've got to have it. If it's so bad that it got pulled by the publisher, that's something that I would like to retain as, like, evidence of how bad, that guy's history is. It's
constitutional attorney Andrew Seidel, who is with Americans United for Separation of Church and State. He wrote the book, The Founding Myth, which takes a deep dive into the claims that all the founders were these sort of Bible-banging Jesus warriors who wanted to bring God to this part of the world, and how it's just a bunch of crap. I mean, it's just, and perhaps even more offensively, it's exclusionary. It sets one class of people over every other class. What could be more un-American than that? He likes to say it this way. Andrew says, the minute we become a Christian, how's it go? The minute America becomes a Christian nation, it will cease to be America. And I kind of feel like we're there. Everything's been theocratized. Christian nationalism's on the rise. Hell, we've got a weird fundy faith culture that I can't even, how in the world, John, how in the world does this Turning Point USA group of women have a conference where they talk about how they would be okay giving up their right to vote because God put their man in charge of the home? How did we get to this place? It makes my head explode. I don't understand it. So.
Yeah, I don't either. So we do have another call already screened, and I want to start off before I answer. I want to apologize, Seth, because I was doing a live stream earlier where I was running my own call-in thing, and this person called in, and I'm like, listen, I would love for you to call in tonight and run this argument by Seth.
Oh.
Yeah, so you might be disinviting me to the speaker thing that you're doing, but
All right.
we've got Felix on the line.
How you
Hey there,
doing?
Hey Felix, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Pablo, Felix, the same thing.
Yep. No, I remember you from earlier. Now, I've went round and round with you there, Felix. So I know you're a Christian, I believe, and you're making an argument that God's existence is obvious. And I just want you to run your case by Seth because I felt like I was going crazy earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
By the
Yes.
good grace of God, I can hear you. Wow, I just said God like Jordan
Can you hear
Peterson.
me?
That was accidental.
Can you hear me?
Right.
Can you hear me?
If you say it again, I'm going to hang up on you.
Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear you. Please make your
Yes.
point.
Yes, we can hear you, Felix.
Can you hear me?
Holy
you hear
shit,
me?
Felix. Yes, Felix, we can fucking hear you. What the hell?
Okay, because my television went off.
You don't need to be listening to the show and being on the phone at the same time. Can you you're
I am a quiver, Felix. I wait in anticipation of your great acumen. Please
Okay.
explain your point to me.
Okay. Okay, do you think God should be obvious to everybody? Should be?
I think a benevolent God would have made himself, herself, itself obvious to everybody. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm going to make an argument that God is obvious. Okay, the argument goes like this. If the universe is contingent, a necessary being exists, a necessary being is God. And then another day I will prove that it's the same God of the Bible.
I don't understand the first point. You're going to have to restate it for me. Use small words. Use your hands. Talk to me like I'm in second grade. Say your point again.
Okay, the first is if the universe is dependent, an independent or non-dependent being must exist, and that non-dependent being is God, what we call
I
God.
disagree with your premise. The universe could be dependent on a great number of factors, actions, reactions that don't have a consciousness. Doesn't mean there's a God. Certainly doesn't mean there's a benevolent God.
Okay, dependent by definition is dependent on something else, correct?
Something, not necessarily someone.
Okay, but it has to be a someone by definition because it must be able to create.
No. No, I think the
Why not?
universe, we don't know how the universe came about. There was an action, reaction, something happened, but to assign agency, a one, meaning a conscious being to it, that's a leap that I'm not prepared to take. You simply do not know, and neither do I. So I just disagree with your foundational premise.
Okay, so what else could be a creator if not God?
Well, I don't use the word creator. There was a cause. There was like a singularity and the explosion, for lack of a better word, of matter, which went out and spun the universe into existence. We don't know the circumstances of that. We can certainly measure the attributes of the cosmos and using the processes of science, do our best to understand what's been happening in the cosmos and how that relates to life here and potential life elsewhere. But we don't know I don't know what happened. And you don't know what happened. So you don't get to pretend that you do.
I know what happened.
How do you know?
I do know what happened because of this argument.
Oh, wait. So you know what happened because of a claim that you have arbitrarily made. I make a claim, therefore I know. That's proof.
No, I'm making an argument. I'm not making a claim. I'm saying if the universe
You're basing an argument on a claim. Look, I think the universe, you know what? I claim that the universe exists inside a giant snow globe, which exists on the fireplace mantle of a giant purple space octopus. And I know that.
Okay.
I know that.
Okay.
And so that's the premise. That's the foundation for every argument you and I are going to have from now on. Okay. I know that.
Okay, so are you denying that contingency exists, that dependent beings exist?
I think, what do you mean by, when you say dependent, I think you're weaponizing the word, saying that we would depend as a child might depend on a parent figure, right?
Correct. Correct.
But that's not, I mean, one thing can be an element of another causal element. And in that way, you might say, well, it depends on this. It depended on this to come into existence. But we don't know if there was an agency at the beginning. We don't know what caused the universe to come into existence. And then you say that you believe it's the Christian God and you can prove that. Well, you can't even prove the first part of your claim. So you and I are in some pretty sketch territory, don't you think?
Okay. Okay, I'm in the process. Okay, so you believe that dependent beings exist or not? Or the universe is necessary?
I'm not using your definition of dependent. Certain things happened which resulted in me. Okay? So in that way, it could be said that, well, I was dependent on the circumstances, but it doesn't mean that those were stances of agency. Right? It just means I'm a result, but I'm not necessarily an intended result. And if you're going to talk about intelligence and design, you're going to have to do a whole lot better than, wow, look all around us. I mean, look at the beauty, great, but you're also going to have to look at poor design, blind creatures with eyes, deaf creatures with ears, heavy bones and flying animals, genetic defects, children who die in childbirth, natural disasters, a sun that gives us cancer. I mean, you know, if you're going to talk about design, well, okay, well, even if I was to allot that there might be a designer, that designer sucks. Designer caused a whole lot of waste and suffering. Roughly 99% of all creatures that have ever existed have gone extinct. Massive amounts of waste. How's that for intelligent design? You're not doing very good for me, Felix.
Okay, I'll prove that all that. I'll show you that God didn't do all that. I'll show you later. God didn't do any of that. So
or free will.
Do you believe
is it sin or free will is going to do, John? Sin? Free will.
Do you believe? Go ahead.
No. Well, this is normally what happens. I know I've been monopolizing. Normally what happens is good stuff, God. Bad stuff, we fucked up. Right? Eve ate the fruit. There was sin. Or free will, meaning that we couldn't have free will if children didn't die of infant leukemia. You know, if animals didn't eat each other alive, if we didn't have autoimmune disease, if volcanoes didn't erupt and bury people in fire and lava, if that didn't happen, we couldn't have free will. Right. So it's either free will or original sin, I would guess, was your explanation. How am I doing, Felix?
So are you saying my argument is unsound?
I'm saying your argument is an Everest-sized mountain of horseshit. And I say it in the love of the Lord.
Why is horseshit?
Well, it's so listen, it's horse shit because you get to the very first premise and you have to presume that a being, like a personal being, you were telling me personal earlier, but that a being exists that everything is dependent upon. That is the non-contingent being is what you're saying, and you just presume that to be true. This is the exact same problem that we were having earlier there, Felix.
Hey, John, would it also be, if we're using his reasoning, that God would have to exist on a contingency or a dependency on a previous being?
I mean, I don't see why he should be there's nothing to establish that he's not also contingent. There's just the claim that he's non-contingent.
Who created the creator, who designed the designer? Yeah. What was God dependent on to begin to exist, I wonder?
No, that's impossible. It's necessary by definition.
No. So why is it impossible? Why is he the necessary thing? Why couldn't the God previous to him be the necessary one?
Because there cannot be any more gods than one God in infinity by definition. There
what
can
is
be
that?
only one necessary being.
No, you're just saying that yet again. You're just saying things, Felix. What actually proves that that is a necessary part of reality? Like what limits it to only one God? I mean, prior to monotheism making a rise, with in the Hellenistic culture, multiple gods was the norm. So like, why can't there be multiple gods? Why can't there be multiple gods prior to the multiple gods that exist then? And then let's compound upon that. What about multiple gods before those multiple gods before those multiple gods? Like, I mean, we could layer this bullshit on in ad infinitum. That means to eternity.
Because that's impossible. Okay, because
how is it impossible?
impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Because God is infinite, and by definition, you can only have one infinite being by definition.
What by like there's nothing that's part of that definition that means that only one God can exist that is eternal. You can add, like, there's nothing that says there can only be one, right?
And there's not even a rule that says the God itself has to be eternal or perfect or an omni-God, omnibenevolent, omnipotent, or omniscient, right? It's just a God with godlike powers, but nothing else is required.
Yeah, God's not Highlander.
Exactly.
By the way.
Exactly. Reality tells us that it can only be one by definition, because infinity, there can only be one.
No. It is Highlander, John. He's literally quoting Highlander.
He is.
God is Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
There can only be one.
Yeah,
That's why God has a sword. Or no, wait, he's got a staff. He doesn't have a sword. But it'd be cool if God had a sword.
Then is
Highlander. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't have anything else for Felix. I'm sorry. I got nothing.
So. You're good. Felix, this was eye-opening yet again. Maybe next time you call in and you're able to get on the line, maybe you could have actual arguments instead of presuppositional claims, because that's all that you've done yet again. Okay.
Can you steel man my position?
What?
Can you steel man my position?
Sure.
Your position is so contradictory, it's impossible to steel man it. All right? It's impossible to steel man. It is jello dripping off of the wall. All right? It is flubber. It is a gooey, fluid substance, a viscous substance which cannot be tamed. And so, no, we cannot steel man your argument. But may the Lord bless you and keep you. And maybe we'll talk again if I've lost a bet or something else. Okay?
Okay.
All
right. Thank you very much.
See you later. Yeah. Real pleasure.
See you later, Phil.
Real pleasure. The nature of God. I love how people tell us the nature of God, what God must be, the limitations of God, a requirement of God, the dependency argument. Do you start with this claim and you're like, well, prove that claim. And they're like, well, it just kind of is because you can't be any other way. I'm like, well, why? And these callers, John, are they legit? Are they just yanking our chain?
I'm not paying them to be here. So, unless they're,
God has to be this, has to be eternal is a great example. No, there are gods presented throughout mythology that were finite, that could be killed, certainly could be harmed, that were very human in their attributes. Of course, the Greek gods are easy examples. They were jealous and petty, and they lied and they got shit wrong, and they were very much not eternal omni-gods. They filled a niche, and then they were gone after a while. They were gods, and so God must be eternal and must be this, and then somehow he was going to take the chasm-sized leap into Christian theology. I'm like, well, good luck with that, right? Good luck with that. So going to have to score him a 0.2 on the God argument meter.
0.2?
So I'll give him 0.2.
0.2.
Yeah.
So
he used vowels and consonants, so he does deserve a little bit of merit for that.
So before we get to our next caller, which we do have another caller that's going to be coming up, just letting y'all know, $5 or more on the super chats, and Seth and I will be reading those off using our lovely new system here. So do get in those super chats if you would like for us to interact with a question that you have, or if you want to bug me about Guy Fieri, that also will definitely cause me to lose my shit. I have a
Lux, I don't know. Did you get that Ark Encounter graphic I sent you? I wanted to make sure everybody knew what that was. Would there be any way for us to, before the show's over, put it up so everyone could see what it was? We talked about standing in front of the Ark Encounter on July the 12th around noon. Yeah. But we didn't give a whole lot of details. It's totally free. There's no tickets. We're just standing out in front of the giant Ark Encounter sign. Godless Granny, Godless Engineer, I'm going to be there, Mandisa Thomas, No Illusions, and a bunch of people, not just from throughout Kentucky, but from all over the United States. We're going to come out. There's a lot of fun, often very sarcastic signs. My favorite of all time says, Genocide and Incest Park. And they hold up the big banner. And then, of course, the Ark Encounter visitors show up. And often there's these little homeschool hens with their little ducklings, and they just go in. And I grieve, John. When I was in the Creation Museum in the Ark Encounter, I grieved because I did see a lot of these sort of homeschool teacher types. And they had a trail of impressionable minions, little children, who were being brainwashed into some very, very bad ideas. And I just wanted to walk one of them over at the Creation Museum and say, oh, look, the incest exhibit. But I didn't do that. But I do like the idea of us being there whenever these folks are driving by into the parking lot. We're like, Genocide and Incest Park, camels and penguins living together in sin, those types of things. So anybody who wants to come out, just show up. And I think they're going to have a podium in the PA. We're going to have short presentations, but mostly we're going to hang out in what I hope will be lovely weather on the 12th, Williamstown, Kentucky, at the entrance of the Ark Encounter. So thanks for indulging me, Lux, and putting that back up there. I just wanted to do my due diligence. So.
No, yeah, I was actually going to bring that up, talk about that. Remind everybody of, your gig the day before on July 11th. Where you and Noah.
FYI, going to be me and Noah. No Illusions and Seth on the 11th, Cincinnati, Ohio, SethAndrews.com/Cincinnati. It's funny, some people ask, why do you spend so much time talking about God if you don't believe in God? I suspect there's a guilty conscience or something. And I'm like, well, you don't talk about the tooth fairy. You don't talk about somebody else. You don't talk about this. And I'm like, well, the tooth fairy isn't trying to take over the entire American public school system. The tooth fairy is not saying that we should be a tooth fairyist nation, and that all 50 states should have their laws wrapped around the theology of the tooth fairy. We're not threatening children and their parents with tooth fairy hell. I think we have to look at action reaction. I am not a face-forward activist because I hate Christians. I actually have a higher opinion of Christians than many have of themselves. I had a neighbor. He was a pastor. Nice fella. We were friends. But when he talked about himself, it was always about how broken we are. We're all broken people, and we all really need Jesus. No one's worthy. The Bible tells us there's nobody worthy. We're not worthy, and we really need the redemption of Jesus Christ. We need to die to ourselves and be raised again in him, a new creature. And I'm so thankful Jesus saved me from the sinfulness that is my own heart. You've heard this spiel before. And I thought, listening to him devalue his own humanity. I don't deserve goodness. I deserve hell. I'm not worthy. There is no one worthy, no, not one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm the atheist. I have a higher opinion of him than he has of himself. I was indoctrinated as a child, and I think in some ways it can be child abuse. I want to help create the world where there's less of that. Robert Greene Ingersoll famously wrote the words, "The more false we destroy, the more room there will be for the true." I want to destroy the false, and I want to live in a world where we pursue what is true, whatever that is. And, if Christianity didn't result in actionable stuff that caused real harm, I'd be a little less pissed off about it. But I'm a guy who spent 30 years in the faith. I wasted decades on really bad ideas. A lot of my bigotries and conspiracy thinking was rooted in that faith. Don't tell me it's all about love and light and Jesus accepts you where you are and we're all going to go to a happy place, etc. It's not that simple. If you get into the letter of Christianity, it is a dominionist faith, it is a conspiracy theory faith, it is an authoritarian faith, and it is a judgment faith that devalues people. And so that's one of the reasons I do have conversations like these, because I don't think, not only do we not need it, I think we're better off without it. And it's not because I'm an atheist as much. It's because I'm a humanist, and atheist is just kind of part of that. So anyway, that's my little diatribe. No Illusions isn't the only one who gets to do a diatribe. Damn it, I did a diatribe on the show today. So,
so next caller that we got coming up wants to talk about why God is good. We've got Charlie. Charlie's on the line. Hey there, Charlie. How you doing?
How's it going? Yeah, I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Which God is good? Which specific God?
Well, that's what I was going to talk about, because I've been watching the show here and there a little bit. And I've seen that you guys are saying God is not good. So can you tell me why God is not good?
Sure.
Which God?
Well, the one and only true God, of course, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. See, earlier we had another caller that said the one true God was Allah, so you can understand how we'd be confused by that, right?
Yeah.
Well, Islam and stuff is just terrorism. None of that shit's true. So
that's xenophobic bullshit, but we'll try to move past that.
Why is Jesus not good?
No, that's all right. I think much of Christianity's terrorism, biblical Christianity's terrorism. So, I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, totally.
Bullshit.
Well, hold on. Okay,
that's
so
total bullshit.
So no, it's not total bullshit. I'm looking at 1 Samuel 15 right now, and I'm reading verse 3, where it says, "Now go and attack the Amalekites and devote to destruction all that belongs to them. Do not spare them, but put to death men and women, children and infants, oxen and sheep, camel and donkeys." Now, do you think that your all good God would command people to? I read from the Bible.
It's a Poe, right? You're not legit, are you?
No, this sounds legit. Yeah.
I've never really read the Bible myself. I'm more of I was born in church and everything. I moved down here to California.
Wait, you were born in a church? Like your mom just gave birth like in a church, or?
It was a home birth, and we actually lived next door to a church. Yeah, that's correct.
So,
wow.
Wait a minute. You're calling to defend the God of the Bible, but you haven't read the Bible? Did you hear what I said earlier about statistically and about how the atheist knows the Bible better than almost all Christians? I mean, do you want to have this conversation?
Well, it's not about knowing the Bible. It's about knowing Jesus. And once you know Jesus, then you know the Bible. You don't got to read that stuff.
But how do you know Jesus if you don't understand the rule book that God ostensibly placed for humankind to use as a guidebook for moral life?
Well, we have a personal relationship with God as Christians, not Mormons, as Christians. And that's all we really need. We don't need to, read all that jibber jabber. We just understand that God loves us.
The Bible is jibber jabber?
No, Yahweh's going to love that. You stand before the pearly gates and he says, "Did you read my good word?" And be like, bunch of jibber jabber. And he's like, "I will smite thee."
Well, that's not what I meant.
I don't read that jibber jabber. Who needs words when I got faith in the Lord?
All right, hang on. So I come to you, Charlie, and I say, you know what? We'll go back to Allah. I know Allah is real. I don't read the Quran, but Allah lives in my heart, and it's very real to me. And that means Allah is the true God. I say that to you. Then, given the rules here, you would have to accept my God at face value as real, wouldn't you?
Absolutely not. I'll tell you why Islam is false right now, but Christianity, let me ask you. I was asking you a question. You seem to evade it.
No, we didn't.
My question
We
was,
answered it.
why?
Hold on, Charlie. I'm not going to let that stand here, okay? Because you're saying that we evaded it when I read directly from the Bible, 1 Samuel 15 verse 3. Going to fast forward to the very end of the verse here, where it says, "Do not spare them, but put to death men and women, children and infants, oxen and sheep, camels and donkeys. Your God, Jesus Christ, commanded the Israelites to do that to the Amalekites for nothing." There was 400 years between whatever happened between the Amalekites and the Israelites, and then God decided to to kill their children, infants, and women in that society for no reason. They were basically eating crackers, and it was like, oh, those fuckers over there eating crackers, I'm going to go kill them now. And that was it. Is that an omnibenevolent God? Is that what Jesus would do?
Well, that's the problem with you atheists. You think that Christianity is all about the Bible, and that's all it is.
Well, you understand how it sounds. If you're going to distance Christianity from its foundational book, then you can make your God whatever you want. So, and then I put you in the room with 500 other Christians, and all their gods sound and look totally different too. It sounds to me like you made a God in your own image.
I don't even think that stuff you read is from the Bible. I think you're lying. Matter of
How
fact,
about you look it up chapter and verse, right? Rather than call us liars, it's interesting that you didn't even remotely say, hey, let's Google that and double check and see if it's actually in the Bible. You just made an emotional charge and said, that doesn't sound right to me. I don't think it's in there. Is that how we skeptics should be approaching matters of truth?
Well, I don't know who you're calling we. I'm not no skeptic. I believe in Jesus
as human
and I love
beings.
him.
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 21 has a great verse about God's soldiers that kidnap.
Go ahead, read it to me.
Kidnap a hot woman, right? After he slaughtered her family. He said, damn, I'd like a piece of that. And so he brings her into his house and he cuts her hair and he cuts her nails and he changes her clothes and he has sex with her. And after 4 weeks, if she has not properly satisfied him, God, the biblical God, the Christian God, gives this soldier total permission to release that girl or woman into the wild like a stray cat, right? Because he has violated her. He doesn't kill her. He has to, quote unquote, let her go. Does that sound like a benevolent God that you would want to follow? Because that is the Christian God.
Well, let me read from the atheist Bible, and I can pull a bunch of bullshit like you just said. Oh, we must have sex with man. Oh, we must not,
What's wrong with sex with men? What's wrong with playing with your dick?
Well, wait a minute. Where's the atheist Bible at? Does it come in paperback? Is it translated into multiple languages? Is there a sale this weekend?
None of that stuff about sex is in the Bible. Come on, man.
What?
He's just trolling us.
Are you fucking with this, Charlie? Charlie, you're fucking with this, aren't you?
You guys are slaying. I'm not fucking with you because you're slaying my Bible and you're slaying my religion. I'm not slaying your religion one bit.
Charlie, goddamn, we're reading directly from the fucking thing.
He just said it didn't matter, and now he's saying you're going after my Bible. So which is it?
Yeah, I don't know. You're confused. You need to get your troll consistent.
The Bible matters, but it don't matter if you read it. It don't matter if you do any of the stuff. As long as you're a Christian, you love God, you love Jesus.
All right, you realize the instruction on how to get saved is in the Bible, so people would not know the requirements of the salvation prayer if they never read the Bible. You realize that. So if they didn't have a Bible, they wouldn't know how to accept the Jesus.
That's for the pastor to do? Are you fucking serious?
Well, how would the pastor get it if he's not reading the Bible?
Well, he does read the Bible. That's his damn job. My job is to be a good Christian.
If you are so full of shit, if they gave you an enema, you would vanish. I'm done with Charlie. I'm done with Charlie.
Well, I'm done with you, brother. Fuck you, man. I hate your religion too. How about that?
What would Jesus say? Charlie, love thine enemies. Bless those who curse you. Turn the other cheek. The meek shall inherit the earth. Where the fuck you fall into that theology?
Charlie, turn the other cheek, Charlie.
Jesus is a hippie.
Charlie, Jesus is asking you to turn the other cheek right now.
Oh, Lord.
Jesus Christ
Lord,
loves you. God bless you. God bless goddamn America.
Wait, goddamn America?
No, he's full of shit. He's just getting his rocks off being on the air. There's no way that's legit. Charlie, how pathetic is that? Like, are you sitting at home in your mom's basement? Like, are you
Probably
like
playing with his
masturbating to
dick.
Red Dawn? And, I mean, what are you doing, man? Is this what you do with your Friday night? Like, we're hoping to have a productive conversation. and I'm telling you, if the Christian God exists, I would love to be a fly on the wall when you stand before the throne of God and explain how you didn't really need the Bible to be a Christian. I would like to hear that conversation play out. That would be amazing to me. So crazy, John. It's crazy.
I know. I'm not exactly. I mean, I don't know where
Jesus
we can go.
says, "Fuck you."
Fuck you and goddamn America. That's a total 180 from where we started out tonight with somebody saying that God is in the Constitution.
I love you in the love of the Lord, you piece of shit.
Oh my God. Make sure you get in those super chats, guys, so that we can respond to any questions or comments. If you can come up with a better troll, I would love to hear it. If you can come up with a more convincing troll in a super chat, that would be awesome.
What's the atheist Bible?
I don't know.
When he said the atheist Bible, I was like, well, sometimes they'll throw they'll say, well, atheists worship science. So let's say it's a science book, or they'll pick, well, like one of the books of the Four Horsemen of New Atheism and say, that's your guru. I had my mother once who was just horrified at my apostasy and embarrassed. I'm an embarrassment to my family. I mean, that's big fun. But for the longest time, I was kind of a pet project. We're going to bring the prodigal home. And it was one of those things wherever I go, somebody wants to give me a book. And this book's going to explain the Bible or God. So I need a book to explain the book. And this book's going to fix it all. I was speaking at a college campus a few years ago. One of the students, Christian, came in, gave me a book. Everywhere I go, someone's giving me a book. So I'm having lunch, and my mother happens to be there. We get in the parking lot, and she says, "I've got something for you." Shit. She's got something for me. So she goes in and she grabs a book. And it's by Alistair McGrath, called The Dawkins Delusion. This is back before Dawkins lost his fucking mind. But, I was like, she thinks that Dawkins was my guru and that I worship at the church of Dawkins, or as he's my shepherd and I am his sheep. And what's funny about that conversation, talking about knowing Christianity, I said, all right, fine. I said, what does this book say, Mom? I mean, just give me the synopsis of it, like the Cliff's Notes. What's his point? And she said, well, I haven't actually read it, but I just know whatever's in here is going to help you find Jesus. How can you even make the argument? I don't know what's in it, but it's going to fix things. To me, makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So, but no, we don't have an atheist Bible. Atheism is simply, we don't believe in God. Nothing else is required. Okay? There's no book. There's no manual. There's no tome that we refer to. So,
yeah. It always gets me whenever they want to try to connect atheists, as if there's an atheist ideology or something like that. That
worldview.
Like is, or a worldview. Yeah. Because, and I find that that's a way for them to try to put us on a level playing field with like religious thought. Because it's like, of course, Christianity or any religion that you got out there, they've got this connective tissue, at least, that kind of runs between them. And it's like, it's really hard for them to really consider the idea that there is no like connective dogma, between atheist views. It's literally just, we're not convinced that God exists. Like, that's the only thing. And they can't seem to wrap their minds around it. I
was having lunch with a believer in my family months ago. And she's like, well, what do you think happens when you die? I mean, it was the idea of a finite existence wouldn't even fit in her brain. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I cease to be conscious and all my organs stop and I decompose and the elements of my body become incorporated into other things. And it's just like tilt, this idea of not living forever. blew her. I still don't think she really understood it. I think I quoted Mark Twain. I'm paraphrasing. They said, I hadn't existed for billions of years before now, and I wasn't in the slightest bit inconvenienced by it. So I call it non-existence, right? It's like before I was born. Would I like to live a lot longer than whatever, 80? Maybe I'll get 80 years. Okay, yeah, I'll take that as long as they're good years. But having a finite life, I think, has made the moments I have a lot more precious. Yeah, I don't get to flip it away to eternity and say, one day we got to do what we do in the here and now. And I've really come to cherish the moments much more outside of my faith. And I'll tell you something else. I fear death less now that I don't believe in heaven. Is that weird? Like, I don't know why. When I thought I was going to live forever in heaven, I was kind of scared of death. Now I don't believe in heaven. I don't fear death. It's just this weird thing that happened in my life.
No, yeah, so fear of death has always been a thing for me, but the fear of hell was something that I was able to shed pretty quick and pretty easily. Once I stopped believing in heaven and God and all that, like there was just no reason for me to still believe in hell. But I mean, I totally understand why some people that are like deeply entrenched in the faith still have that sort of like really deep nagging feeling about like hell and everything like that. Yeah, that's got to be a hell of a thing to shake off if you can't. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the process of dying. My wife's mom's going through Alzheimer's, and I'm like, I'm out, like on that. I'm not doing that. I'll go find a medical aid and dying option in Portland or Switzerland. I'm not doing that shit, right? So the idea of suffering and dying and diminishing and all that stuff, nah. But non-existence doesn't bother me. It doesn't keep me up at night. It kind of is what it is, and I'm just thankful to be alive, and that's enough for me. So,
yeah, same here. I mean, I'm thankful to be alive and being able to do the awesome stuff, that we do here at the line and where I do elsewhere and everything like that. So, I'm just thankful for all of that kind of stuff. So I'm not afraid of non-existence either. I'd rather not exist after my life than be like awake and everything forever and ever and ever. That just sounds horrible. So we do have Jared up next. That's calling in to ask a curious question about aliens. Jared, what you got for us tonight, there, bud?
Hey, man, great show, by the way. I love that last caller. Now, fuck you.
Nothing is not entertaining, Praise Jesus, fuck you.
Right.
My
fuck
favorite part was goddamn America.
Right. Now, if you guys had an atheist Bible, I would probably buy one and a couple copies just to give away. But
it would be an empty book.
Listen. Yeah, I am a master Mason, by the way. I was born Christian, Pentecostal, not United Trinitarian. Kind of got out of that shit when I moved out, become the Southern Baptist, because I had my own rules. But then when everyone started getting older and dying, of course, it's the same old, well, that's God's will. And if they live, that's God's will, and that's a miracle. Or if they die, that's God's will, and that's his plan. And I was like, come on now, come on. And I've read the Bible. And I've been baptized in everything probably as a Christian. And I've tried other things, all the Abrahamic religions, same God, by the way, I believe. I kind of believe in like Gene Roddenberry, like a Star Trek kind of. Is it possible, because the universe is very vast, could Earth have been terraformed maybe and a seed brought here? I'm not saying we should worship anything, because anything humans touch, they're going to ruin it. But is it something like that possible? Maybe. I mean,
well, yeah.
What's your views on that?
I mean, so I guess that there's a little bit, a couple of different things that could mean. Like, there's panspermia, where, like, the beginnings of life, like the building blocks of life, landed here on the back of like a comet or a meteor or something like
Right.
that. I mean, I think that that's probably more likely than being seeded by aliens. Although I wouldn't rule aliens out necessarily. I mean, there's nothing that says that that couldn't happen. If they're sufficiently
Right.
intelligent enough, they could definitely seed life on this earth, and we would just never know about it. They would obviously use the natural forces of evolution in order, to do it. But at the same time,
I would agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. At the same time, I don't
I-
see anything that would indicate that that's the case, though. So I would be hesitant to say anything definitive, other than that's a cool thought to have, but there's no evidence for it.
Do you think that they seeded with like themselves? Do you feel like we then would resemble the aliens that seeded the planet?
I couldn't know that. I'm thinking more of the line, maybe use some of their genes with, we are great apes, right? Maybe I believe in evolution, of course, but I'm saying they might have started the terraforming for us to even allow evolution to come in, because, billions of years ago, we could have been like Venus, and they could have like backed us up and like, hey, let's help the atmosphere, and
I feel like
know it sounds
we're
crazy,
citing the plot of Prometheus, where the engineers come down and they, the guy disintegrates his DNA into the waters, kind of deal.
It's kind of something like that, but I'm more of the line like Star Trek. But yeah, you're right. Even we're talking about, can we terraform Mars now? And I'm sure, like in 100,000 years, if we keep evolving, getting smarter, if that's possible, maybe we could make it to Mars pretty fast and terraform it and make it habitable.
Well,
something like that,
I think seeding and terraforming are two totally different conversations. Where did everything come from, and did it come from without? Well, we know that the elements in our bodies are found in stars, right? And we are all stardust in that way. So, I mean, I agree with John. I mean, who knows what we'll discover tomorrow? But do I think if it's a Star Trek alien, then it's an actor in a styrofoam head.
No, I understand that.
By the way, hey, Jared,
and also,
are you a classic Trekker? Are you a classic Trek fan?
Well, I mean, I've seen them all.
Okay, well, one of my favorites is when Spock's holding this, what looks like a little freaking chihuahua, and they put a little, like a strap of something, and then a little unicorn horn on its head, and tried to pass the chihuahua off as an alien. That's some awesome Star Trek, right? That's awesome. So,
but I love what Matt always says. What does God need with a Star Trek or a starship?
Starship, yeah. By the way, John, I've never heard in my life the term panspermia. I learned a new term today.
Panspermia, yeah. That would be a good movie. I think I'm going to try to rent that one.
You'd probably need a login if you were going to download that one.
Yeah, be careful with that particular search in Google there.
I looked it up. The hypothesis that life exists throughout the universe and is distributed by cosmic bodies like meteoroids, asteroids, and comets. And then there's lithopanspermia, radiopanspermia. This is like a whole bunch of spermia subsets. I now have some reading that I have to do because this is a whole thing that I didn't know existed. So, wow.
Oh, wow. This is serious. Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Lots of spermias out there for sure.
No, but anyway, can I also mention, if anyone of my Mason brothers listens to this show, I do believe in a God. As a Mason, it's up to me to choose which God, which is none of their business, but you know what I mean.
Can you explain the Masons to me? I know a little bit, and I know it's a secretive thing.
I'm a Blue Lodge Mason. We have 3 degrees of being a Mason. I can tell you everything I'm allowed to tell you. It goes back from King Solomon. That's, you know, there's a lot of Luciferians that believe Lucifer in the Bible is Jesus, the same. I don't know. You know, okay, to become anything, you have to become a Mason. I can tell you that. If you want to become a Yorkite, a Shriner, a Knights Templar,
Wait,
you have to
does this
become
include
a Master Mason.
Is the Knights of Columbus included in this, or is it just the Knights Templar?
No, that's Knights Templar is actually a top-rated Yorkite. I'm talking about Scottish Rite also. Scottish Rite is not Blue Lodge, but you have to be a Master Mason to become anything, and we're the biggest fraternity in the world. We're a society with secrets, not a secret society. That's what we say.
Now, Jared, you're not gonna potentially put your life in danger here talking about this.
Yeah, the dudes in black sunglasses are going to show up at your door, man. You betrayed the brotherhood. But let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Since we have a second, hang
ahead.
on. You said you in Masonry you get to choose your own God?
Yes, you have to believe in a God. You do have to believe in a God.
Weird?
It's
like
whatever you can call that. You can call anything a God, though.
So it doesn't have to have godlike qualities to be a God?
Well, I mean, if you want to worship the moon as a God, they don't ask what God, they say, do you believe in God?
Well, what benefit does it bring to assign godhood to the moon?
Well, I don't know. Don't the Bible say something about the two light bearers, the moon, then the at night?
But the moon doesn't
we
generate
know
light. It's
the
a
moon
reflector.
Yeah,
there is a
know.
god of the moon, Luna, but it seems weird. Like if there is a God, if the truth of a God is there, then we want to pursue that God. But to say, just pick one, and it doesn't even have to have godlike properties, is hard for my brain to wrap around.
Yeah,
well,
I can see that, but
if I can, it sounds a lot like AA.
Yeah,
like
well, I might need some AA. So yeah,
Bud Light's starting to get to me.
If you contract panspermia, you're going to need some kind of intervention. Is all I'm saying. That's all. I'm saying.
Fuck! I got the AAA. I got AAA. Yeah, I pay it every month, so I'm good for the AA. I got 3 A's.
Whatever. Okay. Well, I just had a couple of questions about the Masons. John, were you following up? I didn't want to cut you off.
No. I mean,
no.
It does sound a little bit, reminiscent of like AA, where you can choose your own God, just as long as you pick something that's like a higher thing. I don't understand that, but Jared, I just hope that revealing what you have revealed doesn't get you like, I don't know. Anything.
I'm good. Happen. Listen, okay. I enjoy you guys' show, and I like the other show too. But it's something I got to find out. I'm pissed off at my dead parents for raising me to be so scared of death that I fear hell. And I'm like, why would people tell their kids that crap? Well, that devil's looking at you jacking off, and you know what I mean, or just I'm like, damn.
Panspermia. Just say,
I'm gonna burn now. You got that panspermia in my mind now.
I know, doing the bone dance. Yeah, shaking hands with the bishop. Very God's watching. Very, very, very scary. Charlie, thank you so much, or Jared, rather, thank you so much for calling the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Click your deadbolt tonight, okay? Click the deadbolt, just in case. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case.
I will.
See you later there, Jared.
All right. Thank you.
You're right about AA. And it's one of the many things that bothers me. And a lot of people have benefited, and I appreciate that, when they are overcoming addiction. I'd never want to take that away from somebody. But this idea that you have to rely on a higher power or focus on a higher power, and it's arbitrary, just pick an external point of focus, to me is totally bullshit. And I think it removes from the equation in many ways the fact that you're doing all the work and that it's your journey, your responsibility, your victory. And, focusing on a higher power, I think it's just a tragic way to approach over addiction recovery. I'm not a fan of AA at all. So
no, I've seen, I can't remember I don't know if it was recovering from religion or I remember at one time I did some deep research into secular options to like AA that were like more based in science and good therapy. And there are programs out there for that. So if anybody out there is struggling with those particular addictions or those particular issues, you can find comparable secular solutions for that, and I definitely would suggest seeking those out. So we do have about 15 minutes or so left. We got enough to take our last caller that just called in, made it just right in time, which we don't have that many super chats, so we're going to get Seth out of here on time, I think. But we've got John calling in. What's up there, John? How you doing?
How's it going? Love the show, by the way.
You.
Good. What you want to talk about tonight there, John? I'm John too, by the way.
So nice to meet you, John. I was calling about the qualifications of sin. So I know like some things are very set in stone, like adultery, lying. But I was wondering if there was any maybe like darker levels to it, or if there was a way that a sin could be even worse. For example, I know masturbation, for example, is a sin. Sorry, I'm not trying to get all vulgar. But what about like masturbating and shooting a hot load all over my tummy and rubbing it around? Does that make the sin worse?
I don't think you're a theist there, John.
Hi, John.
What about shooting it in my mouth and then like eating it?
Bye, John.
Does that make it worse?
Bye, John. I mean,
what the fuck is that called?
This is literally an embryonic mind.
I promise you he was normal when I screened him.
Like at one point you hit a stage of development, like cognitively, your emotional intelligence, and in terms of maturity. And some people simply do not get past barely multicell. Like you're a multicellular organism, but you simply, for some reason, will not go any further. And then you go and grow into an adult body, and you sit around and find ways to amuse yourself in the most childish of ways by calling broadcasts like this. And then you go congratulate yourself for accomplishing what? Not having any clue of how absolutely pathetic that you sound. And I think this person's just sad. You should carry a plant around to help replenish the oxygen that you have just stolen from all the rest of us on planet Earth, John. You owe humanity an apology, John. I'm just saying. Oh, these people are so dense that light bends around them, John. You know what I'm saying? It blows my mind. So
yeah, no, totally.
Literally embryonic people. They never developed, and they sit around in this weird, smug way, entertain themselves with the most pathetic of exercises. And you and I are like, well, I woke up today, not them, and I'm very happy about that. So,
yeah. I'm always amazed whenever I get somebody like that. And my first reaction is to just sort of deadpan sit there and be like, oh yeah. Is that supposed to like make me squirm? And but it always kind of amazes me how far they'll go sometimes with the bit. Honestly, I'm just glad nobody called in and tried to scream slurs like, just repeatedly over and over again. Normally that's the trolls that I find, but
John had an opportunity to actually use the word panspermia too. I mean, we came right out of that previous call and he could have been clever about it, but no, he's a 10-year-old. And I just, no, that's not doing it. That's just wasted opportunity, John. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So let's, we're doing $5 or more on the super chats over there. So we're about to get to those super chats, but I was
like, do you want to like shoot the shit for 3 minutes and see if we can get another caller? Otherwise, we can get out of here earlier.
I mean, we can go either way. I'm glad to be a part of the family event.
Yeah.
I am part of a family event that is happening all the way across town. And they're doing food and we're gathering with the people we love. And then they're turning off fireworks. And of course, I'm all freaked out because my dogs are going to be here at the house alone. And they are anxious creatures. And so I'm going to be turning up, Pandora. I'll be playing music in every room, hoping to drown some of it out and fretting about them the whole time. So that's one of the reasons I do need to jet out a little early is because we're doing a family gathering. But I'm good to hang out for a little bit if you and I want to shoot the shit and see if anybody. Our calls today have been weird.
Yeah, they have been. So I don't know if you want to, if we want to try to see if we can get one more caller in. I mean, we could. But we can try for that. The way that they've been going though, we'll be in and out real quick. Panspermia like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could call and seed the show from out there. Come land, seed the show, and let us know what it is that you want to talk about. I mean, it's been entertaining for me, I will say. I mean, some callers when they dial into these shows, they take honestly the worst ones for me. Even the weird ones can be entertaining. The worst ones, I think, are when they can't find a point, even if it's a nonsensical point, even if they're dodging or pinballing around or whatever. At least those calls have momentum. The people who cannot string the words together and you cannot draw the water from the well and you find yourself reaching through the monitor, trying to just extract whatever point they're trying to make. Those are the ones that make me want to stick my face in a blender. And we've had some frustrating ones, but at least they've been entertaining today. So I'm thankful for that, John.
Was that last one entertaining? Like, I feel like maybe not so much.
I don't count that as a call. I don't count that as a call. I do. I just count that as like, some kid on his trike scooted by and threw his own feces at the wall. That's what that was. That wasn't even a call. So whatever.
Okay, yeah, I figured Lux, we gotta wait for Lux to officially screen that call coming in there.
I'm not convinced this is going to be anything but trouble, but okay. Yeah. Lux is pretty good at being the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'm the gatekeeper. Are you the keymaster? I just love that movie. I always like to use that line.
Okay, so I say I was sheltered as a kid because I didn't get, like, I watched movies and stuff, but I didn't get the jokes, the adult jokes in it. And so it took me so long, like even when I got it, as an adult, and I watched that, and one day as an adult, I was like, oh, I get it. Keymaster, gatekeeper, finally clicks, they fucked. And like I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I know this before?
Oh, my favorite are all the songs we learned growing up. I like all the pop radio and rock radio songs that we sang the lyrics to, and we didn't realize at the time they were dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden someone's like, well, that's about whatever. And you're like, no. And so those are the ones that cook my dill. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was naughty. And then I feel monumentally stupid because it was right in front of me,
Yeah. Well, we got Greg calling in, asking about why not protest in front of a mosque instead of the Ark. So what's going on, Greg?
Yeah, I figured I was a quick question there, right there towards the end. Then since you lost that last goofy caller there, it was kind of nuts. But yeah, I just figured it was a quick, easy question. I mean, I've been to the Ark a few times, and I saw a bunch of Mennonites mostly there. I think they're keeping it afloat, to be honest with you. Pardon the pun. I just thought about that. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's just homeschoolers and nice people, stuff like that. Okay, and they're not a real threat to America, but good gosh, the Muslims are going to cut all our heads off, atheists, Christians, everybody. So
no,
I mean, if you're going to attack people, you should spend a lot more time attacking them, I would think.
How do you mute? No, we first of all, we don't attack people. For one thing, we're voicing our opinions, right? People are free to call in, and we voice our opinions to them. All right, that's not attacking them. Okay, so that's for one thing.
Yeah, I didn't really mean it as a pejorative or whatever. It wasn't really meant to be like.
Well,
I didn't mean it like in that
first
sense,
of all.
but.
Right. So first of all, I want to add. Seth, I'll let you handle this here in a second. But
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just kind of curious there, bud. Do you know who the Oklahoma City bomber was?
Yeah, McVeigh and Nichols. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know what religion he was?
Yeah, I mean, he may have been Christian, but loosely,
no, he was most definitely, he was fucking crazy ass Christian. Do you know who Steven Anderson is?
Yeah, see, I happen to know that the McVeigh and Nichols were also selling drugs in Michigan. There's a lot of storylines. That has no bearing about that. I don't believe they were really good Christians.
Jesus fucking Christ! I'm sorry, I've muted you because you're not. I'm just going to ask you. So, Steven Anderson is a preacher out in Arizona who regularly preaches hate, violent hate towards many different groups out there, including LGBTQ individuals who, just like you said, with the people that visit the Ark are just good, peaceful people that are just trying to live their lives. And so when you say the xenophobic things that you said about Muslims, as well as why protest the Ark and all this other kind of stuff, I think about people like Timothy McVeigh. And I get that you want to do a no true Scotsman fallacy on McVeigh or any other Christian that I can bring up. How about the entire Catholic Church who's been raping children for thousands of years? The Ark encounter is a symbol of things. It's a symbol of creationism. It's a symbol of fundamentalism. It's a symbol of things that are wrong with the Christian faith. And it's a symbol of ignorance. And that ignorance is what fuels the hate that fuels America, that fuels the White House right now. It's the kind of hate that fuels all of the violence that goes on, that Christians bring upon other people, like all the so-called good Christians that are shooting up schools and doing the mass shootings here in America and everything like that. I'm not saying it's only Christians out there, but I'm just saying like there are churches that get shot up too by their own parishioners. So when you want to try to juxtapose Christianity and how against like how you think that Muslims are violent, I would say that the biggest threat to America right now is homegrown terrorism, and that seems to be one of the biggest threats. And so I don't know. What do you think there, Seth?
Oh, I'd like to hear his response before I jump in.
All right, you're unmuted there, Greg.
Well, I don't really think they're violent. They tell us what they're doing. I mean, we see it, 10 to 1. Now there's people like that Anderson guy. Yeah, sure. But he's marginalized. But the Muslims, I mean, gosh, go look at Pakistan. Go look what they do to the Christians in Lahore, this Christian city in Pakistan. I mean, look at how they treat them. I mean, look at the brick factories with 12-year-olds, what they do to the Christian kids over there. I mean, it's and they do this, with the state approving everything that they do, because Islam is a state. It's the same thing. It's a state and a religion. Here we at least we're smart enough to separate the two. I understand people like Anderson and all that. People like Anderson and all that. Don't believe that. But.
Greg, the fuck are you talking about? You know that Donald Trump has these evangelical pastors that are giving him advice in the Oval Office, and they're the ones that are running things.
Just passed House Resolution, I think it's 1017, declaring Christ is King of Oklahoma. So how have they separated the church and the state?
Well, I mean, that was the intention of the founders. Now, what's actually going down may be a different thing. But
the intention is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the effect.
Create a state religion.
All right, Greg, here's my challenge with you. You can usually tell someone who has an opinion about Muslims, who speaks in this way, you can usually see them coming and realize they don't know what they're talking about. So when you say the Muslims, it tells me that you don't understand that the vast majority of practicing Muslims are like the majority of just practicing Christians. They are peaceful. They want to live their lives. They were raised in a culture. Their religion is ritual and aesthetic. And here's another fun fact for you. The vast majority of the people who are oppressed, who are tortured, kidnapped, and murdered by Islamic regimes, the vast majority of those victims are Muslims. So this idea that the Muslims are going to come over and behead everybody just sounds like a crazy Trumpian talking point, some fear porn that's being spun to dehumanize an entire demographic of people, right? Muslims are people, and we start there. And we understand the difference between Islamism and the Muslim faith. We understand that there's a spectrum of belief as there is with Christianity. And they deserve better than to be dehumanized by saying them Muslims are going to come and behead everybody. That's fair, isn't it?
Well, some of them are saying they're going to do that. But here's what I think would be fair.
But I'll tell you something else. No. You're not going to talk over me here. I'm going to keep going. In this country, did you know that 75% of political violence in this country ain't coming from immigrants? It's not coming from Muslims. It's coming from white bread, corn-fed, conservative, evangelical males. They're the terrorists in this country statistically.
I don't believe that.
I don't give a shit whether you believe the statistic or not. If you look at the statistics for mass shooting, if you look at the statistics for political violence, if you look at the assassinations of people like Charlie Kirk and the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, were those people Muslims? They were not. They were right-wing nuts. They were conservatives. They were part of a terrorist demographic that is distinctly not Muslim. Where's your outrage for them?
Well, definitely, that's bad too. But I think what would be fair, though, is that if you at least spend an equal amount of time, let's say not more, but let's say if you spend an equal amount of time in front of radical mosques as you do the art.
So radical mosques, that's an interesting way of putting that. I don't know of any radical mosques. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't exist, but what I'm saying is that the reason why we protest in front of the Ark Encounter is because it's devastated the surrounding local economy. It's hurt Williamstown, Kentucky. They use public funds in order to build it, and they continue to draw on the public funds in order to keep it running. So it's a detriment all around. The little kids that you see going to the Ark are indoctrinated into ignorance. Their intelligence is driven down the drain every time they walk in there, and they're told by people that they trust and people that they love and people that they expect to protect them against bad information and against bad shit, that they have people or these kids are driven, their intelligence is driven down by the fact that they're told that they're dirty, sinful things, and that because they are dirty, sinful things, they deserve death. And because I've been to both the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter, and both of them are just cesspools of guilt and shame, and like, oh, you deserve to be burning in a hellfire, but we've got Jesus. Jesus to come along and, die for our sins and everything like that, which, by the way, sins are just transgressing God's opinion. He could just change his opinion and not need to kill his son, but instead he decided to rape a 14-year-old child, have a copy of himself on earth, and then do a super late abortion later by killing himself on a cross. So pardon me if I totally just disregard any kind of intellectual positivity that could be driven by the Ark encounter. And forgive me if, actually, I'm not asking you to forgive me, but anytime I see a little kid going into the Ark encounter or the Creation Museum, I just think about how they're being indoctrinated into ignorance. And I feel sorry for those children because they're being told lies. They're being told lies by people that believe those lies, and maybe they don't think that they're lies, but they have also been indoctrinated into lies, and I feel sorry for them. It's a full-time like feeling sorry fest whenever I go there. Now, all of this to get to Numbers 31, 17 to 18, because you seem to think that Muslims are oh so bad, when Christianity is oh so bad too, because they're both coming off of the same Abrahamic rotten tree. In Numbers 31, 17 to 18, God has commanded his chosen people to kill all the boys, as well as every woman who has known a man, but spare for yourself every little girl that has never known a man, so that they can then go and rape them. This is Epstein level trafficking, decided by your God, enforced by your God. God literally told Moses how to divvy up the 32,000 girls that were stolen here and given out to people, just like Jeffrey Epstein would have done. So now I'm going to ask you, why do you follow a God that seems to be on a worse level, a much worse level than Jeffrey Epstein?
I think you're assuming that because I said I went to the Ark encounter that I believe these things. Now, I think that the Bible is about astrology and astronomy and stuff like that, and it's a bunch. It's got a little bit of numerology, it's got a little bit of all that kind of stuff, and it's built on myths and things from the ancient world. A lot of the Odyssey and the New Testament, stuff like that. I don't believe it.
Okay, so you're not a Christian.
That's not the point that I'm. Well, I would say that I still, I'll still go to church because that's what my friends and family do and stuff like that. And I'm nice to people, but I don't believe it literally like they do. I understand that there's a mythology behind it that they don't understand.
Greg, let me back up real fast to your question before we have to let you go. All right. Yeah. And I'm going to be fair. You said, why protest at the Ark but not a mosque? All right. Well, first of all,
yeah.
The Islamic faith is not the primary threat by a long shot in this country. Christian nationalism is, and more Christian-based misogyny, even some Christian-based terrorism, certainly bigotry against other non-groups, the people vilified, whether it's LGBT people or immigrants or those who oppose Netanyahu and the Israeli genocide on Gaza, etc. So the immediate threat here is obviously going to be Christianity. So that's going to be my primary focus. That's the language this country is most dealing with these days. It is not the neighborhood mosque that goes up. Secondly, Ken Ham and his Ark encounter are much more high profile than the neighborhood mosque. $110 million paperweight in Williamstown, Kentucky, that he pretended he was a church for when he wanted a tax break, and he pretended he was a for-profit business when he wanted government benefits to help him build the damn thing. So he's playing both sides. He's making a lot of money, and he's selling a lot of lies. And we think it's just fine to go and try to take the teeth out of some of this by mocking it and protesting it at its front doors. Creationism, biblical creationism, is at the front and center of American conversation. That's where the biggest fire is, and that's where we're going to go. And we're going to throw some cold water on it, and I think that's totally valid. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think the key to what you said there is in the short term, because I think the bigger threat is in the long term, and the bigger threat in the long term is coming from the Islamic world. And I think at some point you'll see what happened in Lebanon, Syria, and all the countries, Iran, where they,
well, there is no doubt. Statistically, we are seeing that happens. Islam statistically growing. We are seeing that happen. But right now, and this is a great point. At this moment, the house that is on fire, the arsonists are Christians. They're Christian nationalists. They are really an evangelical political force, selling lies And whether they mean it or not, they are doing great damage. That's the fire we have to fight now in the United States. And that's why I'm going to the Ark Encounter and not the neighborhood mosque. Okay?
I mean, I get your point. I think the people that I see there, though, like they really are just a bunch of Mennonites and almost a lot. I mean, they come out, they're really nice people. They're not. They might have a lot of ignorance. They might be biased. Blah blah blah. But
I don't know what you saw a few Mennonites. Members of my immediate family just went to the Ark Encounter last year, and they're Southern Baptists. So no, I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of people nationwide are going there to teach truth to impressionable minds. And I think we have to ridicule the ridiculous sometimes. And I love the idea Ken Ham may drive by and see us out there. So anyway, thanks for the call. We appreciate it very much.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yep.
All right. Bye, Greg.
And to start out by saying, well, those Muslims are going to come and behead everybody. It's just that's the most pathetic stereotype. Tell me you know nothing about Islam while telling me you know nothing about Islam. I swear.
Yeah.
You know, are there extremists? You're damn right there are. But the vast majority of the people in the Muslim faith are like the vast majority of casual cultural Christians. They're just freaking doing their thing, living life. They don't want violence on anybody. They're just people, and they deserve a whole lot better.
Yeah. So first up, we've got Joshua Everett 9887 that says in appreciation of Lux working on their day off. Also, John and Seth.
Where are you seeing these? Oh, you're looking at the big screen. Are we trading off? Because I'll kick the next one off here.
Yep. You go ahead.
Hey, Seth, I just checked the fireworks stand story out. The fireworks stand that exploded in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Holy hell. It was a malfunctioning light bulb, according to the stand employees, and the stand is already open again in the same spot. Well, I'm glad nobody was hurt. That's the big thing, and good for them on resetting. So I hope they have a successful weekend.
Yeah. WDC Nathan says, ask Felix about brown holes.
That sounds very panspermian.
Yeah.
Charlie 2026 says the Lord hates readers, whatever that means. So.
Oh, that was Charlie who was like, I don't read the Bible.
My mind had not connected that dot. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Average Jesse Bell says, I'm God fearing, God damn it.
Jesus says, fuck you.
that's gotta go on a mug this year, I swear.
The Lord works in mysterious ways. Piriform 42 said, I'd like to vote for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as the atheist Bible. You know what? I buy that. Douglas Adams is probably one of the great theologians of our age. And so I stand by. I think that I second that amendment. Good one.
Do you happen to? Did you ever meet Chuck Miller?
No.
No. He was a North Alabama atheist activist leader. He led a group here. I actually got his copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I was pretty happy to have that. He passed away last year.
I have the hardcover, but I just 2 years ago ordered the Audible audiobook version because I travel and like to listen, and it's narrated by Stephen Fry. Oh wow. My God. The voice of Stephen Fry is perfect for Hitchhiker's Guide. If you're into audiobooks, get it. It'll blow your mind. It's so good.
We got SJL who says the atheist Bible is Forrest whiteboard in Seth's notepad. In the beginning, there was cat.
There was cat. And it was good. Joshua Everett, keeping Seth here for an extra minute or two by making you read really, really slowly by using ellipses. Did you really, though, make me read more slowly by using ellipses? I don't know. Nice try, though. Nice try.
Finally, we got Robs 232 says, I don't understand the fear of Muslims. Sometimes people just need to visit a mosque, meet people, and realize we have more in common than they think. And, honestly, I don't understand that fear. It's always seemed like an irrational fear, like just of the person themselves without any kind of like consideration for their character or anything like that. I mean, I have a hard time like giving Muslims extra shit because it's like Christians are just as bad Yeah, but Seth, both of us deal with crazy ass Christians on a daily basis almost. And, that sometimes they're just as violent as any other religion out there. So it's like, it just seems weird to put a special emphasis on any one particular group, especially when they're Abrahamic.
Well, I think it's massively complicated. I mean, if you're talking about a radical Muslim, and if you're talking about a radical Muslim in a specific context. So, a Muslim theocrat coming out of Saudi Arabia is a different conversation than the Muslim family of 5 who lives on the corner in your neighborhood, who goes to the neighborhood mosque, right? The Muslim who is oppressing women in Pakistan or Iran is different than the women in Iran who are putting their own lives on the line to rip the hijabs, the veils off of their heads and wave them in the air in defiance and say, we have rights. We will not be silenced. We are human beings. You cannot do this to us. We resist, right? The Iraq or the Iran Revolution movement, which has been going on for years and years and years. I mean, those women who are rebelling largely are Muslims. And this tendency we have to try to distill everything down to a meme or a bumper sticker and to make literally billions of people, 1.5 billion Muslims, one thing is to me just monumentally reductive, lazy thinking. It's unhelpful. I think it's often very bigoted. And we all can be guilty of that kind of reductivism, but we have to see it's situational, it's contextual. And I really am convinced that the majority of Muslims are like the majority of Christians. And they don't live the Bible. What's that line? Hey, you want to live according to the Bible? Fine. Flip it open at random. Stick your finger on a verse. Do exactly what it says. Last person to go to jail wins, right? Most people just live the cultural faith. And Islam is the same way. It's a culture. It's a community. It's a comfort mechanism. But it's not a dogma for a great many people. And Muslims deserve our compassion. They are human beings. They are fellow travelers. And hey, they're going to come behead us all, to me, is monumentally offensive. And so I resist that for that reason. I can condemn the religion. I can condemn the claim, but I think we have to try to embrace the people.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Did you want to read this last one since I read the
Yeah, from Alice. The Venn diagram of people that think American Muslims are taking over and that trans people are coming for the cis is a mathematical dot, one and the same, Team Lux. I think there's a lot of crossover. And I'll tell you, for a culture, especially in the evangelical conservative culture, people who are so divinely protected, creatures of destiny, right? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. God has numbered the hairs on my head. He cares so much. Not a sparrow will fall from the sky. Apart from your Father's care, are you not worth more than many sparrows? These people who supposedly live under God's protective umbrella are the most terrified. Like, these people shit themselves over every headline they read. Everybody's coming for them, whether it's the Muslims or the immigrants or the trans people or the socialists or whatever. They just sit around literally losing their minds all of the time. It's the most pathetically thin-skinned culture I've seen in, at least here in the United States. And a lot of it just comes down to othering. They don't see immigrants as human beings. That's why they support the ICE atrocities. They don't see Haitians as human beings. That's why they believe they kidnap your dog and cat and eat them for dinner. They don't see trans people as human beings. That's why they're predators in the bathrooms. They don't see the people in Gaza as human beings. That's why they don't care if Netanyahu slaughters children. I swear to you, it's the dehumanization of people is one of the worst things that we can do to each other. We have to re-inject humanity into the conversations we have, and we have to remember that these are complicated, nuanced issues that deserve more than a meme.
Yeah, we got a final one, or at least final for right now. Pure Reform 42 that says ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know what any of that said.
Wow, that's a big finish. Many syllables. Wow, that's a panspermian. super chat. That's what that was.
I know, right? It panned all the sperm. Anyways, that's going to be it for us tonight. If you will, please go to SethAndrews.com/Cincinnati so that you can get your tickets and see Seth and No Illusions, and also come next week to protest at the Ark and piss off that last caller. So y'all have a lovely weekend. I wouldn't celebrate America, but you do you. If you feel like doing it, do it, I guess. But anyways, y'all have a nice night. Thank you, Lux. Thanks all the moderators. Thanks everybody. Y'all are awesome.